Happy Mother's Day. Did you also partially forget it was Sunday?
I
did.
I've known that Mother's Day was approaching, but I just haven't had the mental bandwidth and faculties to account for it.
Good use of the word faculties.
So, have I known that Mother's Day was approaching? Yes.
I thought it was next Sunday.
Am I going to pay the price for not doing anything for Mother's Day? Yes.
That is a terrible price. It's not the worst one that you could fuck up. There are worse ones.
Yes, I suppose so.
There are definitely worse ones.
There's not many.
There's 2 or 3 I can think of. But they're more personal.
Yeah.
Like
birthdays, anniversaries.
As far as birthdays and anniversaries immediately, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, those are the ones for me that are like the ones you gotta remember. And even then, I'm fucking terrible at it. I've had to start putting stuff in calendars. Because it's just one of those where it's like, I used to know blah, blah, blah for sure. And like, I do know a few of them off the cuff. And then there's other ones where I'm like, I know the month. And that's about it. Like years, I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I want to say February.
It is February.
Okay. And that's about where it's going to stop. 16th? No, that's a different holiday. And that's where we're going to be. Like, I'm just going to play that game, and I have no idea. And I don't, frankly, unless you want me to know, I'm not going to ask.
I've hit the age where I forget that it's my birthday.
Well, I think we're also, this is entirely a tangent. Welcome to the Gamers 2 podcast. But the thing for me on birthdays, right? Yes. And this just might be sad, depending on who's listening and how they interpret their lives. But how long ago did you and I give up doing anything for our own birthday?
It's been a long time.
Like, there have been things that people have done for us.
Mm-hmm.
But that we went, hey, I'm going to do this. It's my birthday. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Is few and far between.
Yeah, I can't recall the last time that has happened, to be honest with you.
Right. I don't know either. I think it was, my guess is it had to be like going to a Yankee game or something, and I just don't remember. But I know going back even further, like, what do you want to do for, oh God, I don't know if it was my 16th or my 18th. My 16th? What do you want to do? I was like, I don't know. I don't really care. I'm just going to kind of hang out. Like, I was over it by that point. Because it was always just, it was like, it's just going to be, it's like a whole thing. And like,
it's too much effort.
It's so much effort. And I don't, do I enjoy cake? Not that much, but I do. Yeah, I mean, you find me like one of those square, this is going to, welcome to being not white trash, but whatever level you want to say of an economic system. Clearly not white trash, but you know what I mean. Of getting one of those square frozen cakes.
Yeah.
From a brand whose name I don't remember.
Carnival.
Is one of them.
Yes.
I think of them normally with like
ice cream
cakes.
Yes.
I'm thinking of a white box, not a red one.
Yes.
And specifically, and I believe my grandmother loved them, and I also demolished one by myself if I wasn't careful. Were like the coconut cream ones, and they're squares. Mm-hmm. They're about yay high. I can't remember. It's not Freihofer. It's not Betty Crocker.
It's but one with an E.
Sure, Eichelhoff. I don't know. some company, and it's like I'm good with that. I don't need much more.
Yeah.
I understand that there's like bakeries that can do cakes. That's a concept.
They're expensive.
Right.
Very expensive.
And I don't need more than I can easily fit in a hand. like anything larger than 2 softballs in diameter, like if you set 2 softballs side to side and measured that distance, anything bigger than that, I don't need it.
Yeah.
That size alone, as long as it's not stupidly tall, will last me a week.
We bought
Sheet cakes, graduation cakes.
yeah, it's a lot.
It's just so much going on there. And how hard is it? You have child party.
Yeah.
And you're like, here's a giant, not even 9x13. We'll go a little bit bigger, but birthday cake, right? 8x13. Whatever the pan size is. I don't remember what the number is. And you're like, all right, cool. Every child is not going to get a 4x4 piece of this. That's just not happening. We're not killing ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
The parents will have some, and then you'll have that moment where there's over half of it left. And now it's the, hey, as you're out the door, do you want to take some of this home with you? Because we can't eat all of it. And everybody goes, no.
No.
And then you look at them and go, you're going to take some
Yeah.
home, whether I put it in your car for you or not.
Yeah. Oh, man. It's my future.
Which,
Sadness.
to that point, not your future point, but to that point, I always argue, just give me pie, man. You want to know what you don't usually find? A too large pie. But you can easily find a too large cake.
It's true.
The more you know.
Dude, a cake from like a decent bakery, not even a decent bakery, a cake from like a bakery
Sure. Yeah.
is like,
What kind of cake? Are we talking like your typical 3-layered birthday cake?
yeah,
So like, yeah, solid circle.
yeah. From a like
I say
not chain bakery.
I don't know what that tells me when I say your typical 3-layer birthday cake. I don't know what that says about me, but we're gonna ignore that.
Is like over $100.
I think even if you got like the personal ones,
Mm-hmm.
the ones that are single softball in size, a little bit taller maybe, I think some of those are still like $25.
Yeah,
And it's just like
not
I'm
worth
gonna,
it.
if I want any of that, I'm gonna go to the bakery section in any convenience store and buy a donut, stick
Yeah.
a candle in it, blow it out myself, have a depression cry, eat that, be happy again, and move on with my day. Anyway,
This is Gamers 2 Podcast, your weekly roundup of news and commentary related to the video game industry and anything else that might pique our interest. Cake?
cake.
Cake or death? Cake,
Death.
please. That's a Eddie Izzard skit. That's old.
It's an Eddie Izzard skit, and I was gonna go to French Revolution.
Oh. There it is.
Two very different jumps in time.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, new releases.
Sure, why not?
Prison Architect 2. You want to build a prison? You can. Animal Well for PC, PlayStation, and Switch. Crow Country for PC and PlayStation. And Gift for PC, PlayStation, Switch, and Xbox.
Gift.
Never look a...
What I am to the world. Or a curse.
I heard angels.
Oh,
Weird. He had a light shine on him. It was the whole thing.
I guess I'll do number one because I feel like you've been doing all
I
the
think
layoffs.
I've been doing a lot of layoffs.
Yes.
And depression is taking its toll.
As per usual, we're leading off with layoffs and closures. This week, we have a good amount of financial info in the short news. So keep all the layoffs from the last year in mind when you're hearing about all the money. Anyways, Lightforge Games has announced it's cutting the majority of its staff by the end of the month and is pausing development on its upcoming title, Project Orcs. The firm said it was, quote, unable to secure the necessary funding, end quote, to finish the game. Lightforge Games was founded in May 2021 by former Epic Games and Blizzard Entertainment developers. CI Games is implementing one last round of layoffs as part of the restructuring it began in January. The developer and publisher said, quote, "This final targeted round of redundancies," end quote, "will affect around 30 people across its production teams." The company specified that Hexworks, the team behind Lords of the Fallen, has been unaffected and remains at work on Project 3. Its new action RPG, CI Games' second internal developer, Underdog Studio, has been given an extended period to finish the vertical slice for Project Survive before that game enters full production. And that's it for layoffs.
It's not?
Well, true.
Okay.
There's more to come.
That's it for the smaller studios.
Yes.
Number 2. If you recall from last week, Sony burnt some goodwill by forcing Helldiver 2 players to log into a PSN account to play the game. Sony said that forcing PC players to connect to a PSN account is our main way to protect players from griefing and abuse by enabling the banning of players that engage in that type of behavior, and would let banned players appeal their punishment. The account linking requirement was complicated by the fact that Helldivers 2 had been sold in numerous countries where Sony does not run the PlayStation Network. Going by Sony's announcement, customers in those countries who had purchased the game could be expected to lose access to it by June 4th. Steam tracking website SteamDB reported that the game was pulled from sale in 177 countries over the weekend. Well, Sony would backtrack late Sunday night, so now account linking is no longer required. Quote, "We're still learning what is best for our PC players, and your feedback has been invaluable. Thanks again for your plans. Thanks again for your continued support of Helldivers 2, and we'll keep you updated on future plans," end quote. It's important to note that Helldivers 2 still remains delisted from those 177 countries, and now Ghost of Tsushima has been updated to the same purchase restrictions. Sony's play here is probably to wait for the attention to die down and then implement the PSN account requirements again. Pushing a whole lot of bad fucking press
Oh, yeah.
by being, again, absolute fucking idiots.
Oh, yeah. Completely tone deaf.
Unbelievably. And it's not just tone deaf, it's just factually wrong.
Mm-hmm.
In so many ways from Sony's angle of like, well, we just have to do this. It's like, hey, no the fuck you don't.
Because you didn't.
Not at all.
And
you
then all of a sudden you
genuinely
do.
did not. You're going to you now would need to make Last of Us Part 2 in the same circumstances. Otherwise, what the fuck are you actually doing?
The other thing that's hilarious is that Sucker Punch was like, don't worry, you don't have to sign in for Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Director's Cut on PC.
Every studio is saying, don't worry about this. And the publisher is going, oh, you
But
better
then-
fucking worry.
They delisted it from those same 177 countries. Which, that was my immediate thought was like, why are you delisting it? Unless you intend to eventually
Make the exact same
implement.
rules.
Yeah.
Because from my understanding, there's still people at like the entire dev team behind Helldivers. Why can I not remember the name of the studio now? Oh, whatever. That entire team is still arguing with PlayStation.
Arrowhead.
Yeah, Arrowhead is still arguing with PlayStation about like, what the fuck are you doing? You are trying to bury us, and we don't care about you.
Yeah.
Helldivers 2 community manager Spitz is seemingly no longer with Arrowhead Game Studios following statements he made over the now canceled mandatory PSN account linking feature. I
That
hope
kind of
that's
fed into a little bit of
not
what you just
exactly
said.
true.
Yeah.
I hope he's still there because I think the entirety of Arrowhead is probably in agreement with them.
He
Have-
made a statement. Well, he's a couple statements on the Discord that he got fired.
I mean, I believe it, but also like, you didn't think that was going to happen. That you made a not that Spitz didn't think it was going to happen, but I mean like
Yeah.
that. Stoney, you make this change, and you have a community manager that is not yours that is going to have to take the brunt of this.
Yeah. And he gave Well, there was two things that happened. He basically said he downplayed the severity of it, being like, you can't take 120 seconds out of your day to sign in.
He initially did that, and then he did backtrack.
And then he backtracked and he was like, well, complain, do bad reviews, and that'll give us more leverage with negotiating with Sony.
Which is true, which is what they were going to do anyway.
Which happened.
There's no... I think the funny thing for me about that is, like, if you were a... It's not hard for CEOs to be out of touch, right? But if you were a CEO or a person in charge of firing and you saw like somebody presented you to the comment, like, we have to remove him. He can't be telling somebody to go do negative reviews on a negative feature that we just did. Because whatever, it's like, part of you as a CEO or whatever would have to almost, obviously the CEO of Sony is not getting involved in this, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Part of you as a management person would at least have to look at the idea that it's like, this is a terrible decision to begin with, what we're doing. He's not wrong. They're going to do it anyway.
From a certain point of view, he's a community manager.
He's managing.
He's successfully rallied the community.
Yeah, he successfully managed the community to the point where you guys at Arrowhead have now put in the review bomb cloak as a thing in Helldivers.
Yeah. Wild. I can't believe it, though. Leave it to Sony to take a game that could compete for Game of the Year as of right now.
Yep.
And literally
throw it all away.
Fucking threw it away.
If I was Greg Miller,
okay,
I'd have a lot more Oreos in me.
Yeah.
But if I was Greg Miller, when I got to not waiting till next year at DICE during either Summer Games Fest or Game Awards, if I'm hosting or whatever, which obviously Keighley does both of those things, but if Greg's involved. So if I'm Keighley, I have a hard time not bashing the industry because he wants to always be so positive about everything.
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely think if Keighley showed up to Summer Games Fest and said something along the lines of like, Sony is so out of touch with how player bases actually interact that they're doing, they make some like horrible skit joke on it, that it would resonate so strongly that they would potentially have to pivot. Like, I would basically do what Greg did to Embracer at GDC again to Sony.
Yeah.
And be like, well, you guys are just fucking around. And you literally don't. It again, and that's not to say that Microsoft's any better, because guess who we're going to eventually talk about? Them. And I'm going to say all the same things again, but in a different way, because they actually fired people.
It's just shit. Shit all around. Number 3. Remedy has announced the cancellation of its multiplayer title, codenamed Kestrel, in order to focus on its existing franchises. In a post on its website, Remedy said the title was at its early concept stage, supported by a small team. The developers will be assigned to other projects at the studio, and Remedy also reduced its recruitment and funding needs as a result. Codenamed Kestrel, previously known as Vanguard, was unveiled in November 2023. Remedy announced at the time that it would be a premium multiplayer title instead of the previously announced free-to-play model. The title was co-funded by Tencent, who was also due to co-publish it. The Chinese company acquired a 3.8% stake in Remedy back in 2021, which raised to 14% last month. Remedy CEO Tero Vertalia commented, quote, "Codename Kestrel showed early promise, but the project was still in its early concept stage. Our other projects have advanced well and are moving to the next stages of development, and increasing focus on them provides us with benefits." End quote. Without any context, seems like a good move. I think naturally a multiplayer title from Remedy would be what's the word I'm looking for? A risk, I guess, for lack of a better descriptor. It's just kind of a risk, especially when your other franchises are doing extremely well.
it's one of those where when I see this and I think the initial thought process was that it was a question of if Kestrel would exist in one of the universes.
Yeah.
But also they do their singles stuff so good.
Yeah,
That
if
like you're already remaking Max Payne's.
Yeah.
You have another Control on the way, and I'm sure the Control thing will satiate Alan Wake fans because they are universe tied. So whatever the next Control is going to be, I would assume something that will satiate that. But it's like even then, I'm just like, I haven't stopped listening to Alan Wake things and like thinking about that game since I played it.
Yeah.
I still jam out to it. Almost the entire soundtrack of that, Alan Wake 1, and Control, which to be fair, it's all old for the most part. It's all old Gods of Asgard, which is Poets of the Fall. But it's so many of their songs that I've just been like absolutely jamming to, and I'm like,
I saw your Discord lyrics that you had on your.
Oh yeah, I've just been changing.
I was like, what are these fucking riddles that he has here? And then like I'll
do the quick Google,
copy paste, and then I'm like, oh, it's fucking Alan Wake too. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. It's all old, it's all old Gods of Asgard.
Yeah.
I've debated. There's been a couple times where I've debated throwing something really wild out there, and I know that there's only going to be like 3 people that ever look at my actual status on Discord, and it's you, Tree, and Buck are the only 3 people that are going to ever like actually look at it, and only you or Buck would actually go, "What is it?" And Tree's just going to be like, Tree will look at it, and the only time he sent me anything about it is when my Discord status was, "Please do keys normally." And he screenshotted that, and he's like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "You wouldn't believe the fucking people I've been playing with." They're just doing.
He sees that, and he's like, "Tell me the stories, bro."
Yeah, the dumbest and wildest shit I've had to deal with. But yeah, no, it's just I don't know. I don't know why. It's just been so good, and I've just been like jamming to those. And it's like, okay, Control, banger. Alan Wake 2, banger. Alan Wake, banger. Alan Wake, American Nightmare, didn't play it, not going to. When they do Control 2, I'm gonna be juiced. Now that I've seen how good Alan Wake 2 was, like visually and everything else, I'm playing the Max Payne remakes.
Yeah.
No fucking way I'm not doing that. Are you kidding me? So good. Anyway.
I'd rock some Max Payne remakes.
I debated. I was looking at this the other day. I was like, if I ever got a tattoo, because I've always debated if I get a tattoo, I know I might not stop at one.
Yeah.
I might sleeve.
Their addictions.
But if I got a sleeve, I'd be done. Because I could probably fit everything I wanted into a sleeve. But I was like, I need the old Gods of Asgard logo. Or like the Lamplighter logo from Alan Wake. Both notable logos. And then I was like, I might get an Abstergo logo. That's the triangle.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
That one. A Horde symbol.
Classic.
Mario block. Just a bunch of like random all video game nerd things. Death Star somewhere. I don't know. Just all these like random shout outs of things where it's like, yeah, this is me. Yankee symbol somewhere on a why not? Who gives a shit? Cat paw somewhere.
Yeah.
Like just all these like random things, and then it's like that's how like I remember those games.
Good stuff.
It's like as much as I want to be like, yeah, like a cyberpunk tattoo would be pretty cool, and then I'm like, but it doesn't mean anything to me. I don't really. I enjoyed it, but getting a Witcher tattoo, that would be cool.
Yeah,
Murph has one.
Classic.
I can't remember if he talked about it in the conversation with Brennan, but he talks about his tattoos, and he does have a Witcher symbol on. I can't remember if it's the wolf or if it's a different one, but he has a Witcher one on his arm.
Interesting.
Anyway, number 4. South Korean publisher Kakao Games revealed that both of its Unreal Engine 5 powered action MMORPGs ArcheAge 2 and Chrono Odyssey are slated to launch globally next year. Kakao actually has 3 Unreal powered action RPGs on the way, although the third one, tentatively titled The Sword Master's Youngest Son, is slated in 2026 and is not an MMO. ArcheAge 2 is the sequel to the 2013 sandbox MMORPG created by Lineage's Jake Song, who is once again at the helm of the new game. A few months ago, it was revealed that ArcheAge 2 would move away from the original's larger scale PvP focus to focus on PvE and guild versus guild modes. Little bit, well, I guess they did have guild versus guild. They did have PvP too. I was gonna say a little bit Guild Warsy, but that still had full PvP combo.
Yeah. I immediately thought of what was that Amazon one?
New World. Chrono Odyssey got a re-reveal about a year ago when developer NPixel announced that the project had switched to Unreal Engine 5 and would focus on PC and console releases like ArcheAge 2. The defining feature is going to be time, which will be a factor not only in the storyline, but also in combat. The game was again shown at GDC 2024 during Epic's Unreal Engine 5 showcase. Kakao Games also has a few additional noteworthy games in its lineup. The PC and mobile MMORPG Odin Valhalla Rising is slated to launch in North America and Europe at some point in 2024's latter half. The twin-stick shooter Blackout Protocol, currently on Steam Early Access, should get a full launch this year. And the roguelike tactical RPG Lost Eidolons Veil of the Witch is also planned for 2024. Next year, Kakao also plans to launch a post-apocalyptic sci-fi looter shooter PC and console game codenamed Project S and made in Unreal Engine 5. And if you wanted anything else from their earnings call, you should have been listening.
Was there more?
No, I'm just assuming it was an earnings call.
I don't think so.
There's no time a publisher brings all of that up unless it's
actually maybe it was. I don't know. Maybe.
That's the only reason I guess that is because that is everything that they're doing and their entire slate of this year and 2 years out.
Yeah. That'd be good. Yeah, that makes sense.
Who else are you telling that to? Investors.
Money.
Speaking of money.
All right. Number 5. Microsoft is shutting down 4 of the studios it picked up as part of the 2020 Bethesda acquisition. The 4 studios include Arcane Austin, maker of last year's disappointing Redfall, Tango Gameworks, the studio behind Hi-Fi Rush, Ghostwire Tokyo, and The Evil Within.
Two massive franchises, and one that was a Game of the Year contender.
Beyond that pair, Mighty Doom developer Alpha Dog Studios and Human Head software successor Roundhouse Games are also shutting down. In an email to staff, Xbox Game Studio head Matt Booty reportedly said the company was closing the developers in order to focus resources on high-impact titles. And the rest of Bethesda's portfolio of games.
Matt Booty, I got a question for you. What the fuck was Hi-Fi Rush, you jackass?
Everyone's first fucking question.
Somebody also just had a really bad moment in a car when they went to stop whispering.
Please stop. Booty said that some of Arcane Austin's developers will be moved to other Bethesda studios, while the entire team at Roundhouse will become part of ZeniMax Online Studios to work on the Elder Scrolls Online. In addition to the studio closures, Booty said a small number of people in Bethesda Publishing and corporate roles will also be laid off. As for the games these teams had been working on, Redfall will not receive any more content updates, and those who purchased the Hero Pass DLC, which was advertised as including yet to be playable characters, will receive an unspecified make good of some sort. IOU. As for Alpha Dog's mobile top-down shooter, Mighty Doom, that game will be sunset August 7th.
It just doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Now, Arcane themselves, because I don't remember. This is going back. This is gonna be having to remember. Arcane Austin, is that any different than Arcane? As a pot
I don't know.
Because Arcane technically you have, if I remember correctly, Deathloop and Prey and Dishonored. So if that's separate from Arcane Austin, then okay, we still have those franchises. But if not, then well, that's not good.
That is Arcane Austin.
Is all of those?
Arcane Studios, a French developer based in London. It was founded.
Or is Arcane Austin just Arcane, and which would be a really weird thing to name it after?
I mean, Arcane Austin is what is left. Well, it doesn't now, but what was left of Arcane Studios?
Okay, so
The Arcane Studios that you speak of was technically already closed.
that you speak of, I do forget that. This is not the Arcane Studios you speak of,
But they are essentially
but yes. So
the same.
Prey gone, Deathloop gone, which Deathloop was kind of a middling, I thought, title to begin with. Then they followed it up with a bad Redfall. They speed ran what BioWare has dragged out for 7 years, which is fucking hysterical.
And they probably released more games.
They released more and better. Prey, both Dishonored, and Deathloop are better than Andromeda.
They they co-developed Wolfenstein Youngblood as well.
Also a really good one.
And Wolfenstein Cyberpilot, which I'm not familiar with that
I
one.
think it's the VR one.
Interesting.
I mean, Redfall was writing on the wall that something bad was going on. Because it was just bad. But why would you tell me that High Impact is what you're focusing on and then getting rid of Hi-Fi Rush? Hi-Fi Rush has been your guys' best game, Xbox's best game, Bethesda's best game as well. Hi-Fi Rush is better, in my opinion, than Starfield.
Died a little bit there. Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree with that.
And that's the studio you chose to close. Not Snake Oil salesman, oil tycoon Todd Howard.
Yeah, but Fallout.
Who has promised 75 incorrect things in all of his games since Skyrim.
Fallout so hot right now.
That has nothing to do with Todd Howard. Well, I guess that's not 100% true. He consulted and I believe helped write some, but he is not. He is a salesman wearing a game developer jacket, I think is the way that I saw somebody put it.
That's funny.
And when you watch, I mean, we've watched multiple of his like press reveals. I think it's very true. They're like, he used to be a game developer, and then they found out that he had sales down way better. And so now he became the marketing guy, the marketing name. But how many times in Fallout 3, Fallout 76, Fallout 4, Elder Scrolls, whatever, that he would say these things in press releases and previews, and then by the time the game came out, that's not how it fucking worked at all. Or the fucking funniest thing, remember the whole Starfield fiasco? Well, the multiple ones, but Starfield fiasco about the locking it to 30?
Yeah.
And they stood on a hill and said, absolutely not will we unlock it. It is a certified choice because it's better that way.
Yeah.
And now they're unlocking it.
Yeah.
They didn't put in vehicles and everything because we want you to explore.
Yeah.
First DLC, we're putting vehicles in. It is the Bethesda and to an extent Microsoft, but Microsoft only because they own them, not because they're Microsoft Studios. That's a different problem. Bethesda is reaching the levels of Naughty Dog where they want to be so defiant in certain things. Like, oh, hey, did you guys start making Last of Us 2 yet? Before Last of Us 2 came out. Did you start making Last of Us 2 yet? Oh, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing it. Yeah, you fucking are. You made so much money. There's no way you're not making another one. There's no way you're not making The Last of Us Part 3. Now, you could tell me that you just haven't had the creative spark yet to think of it, but that you guys want to make it. Like, you might not know what story you're going to tell. That also makes sense. That wouldn't be lying to me. But there's just so much where it's like, then they come out on stage and they go, and you're never going to fucking believe it, but here's one more thing. Another Elder Scrolls. And you're like, yeah, no, we all fucking know. Oh, you're going to tell me you just decided to stop making Elder Scrolls because the last ones have only sold multiple zeros after the number of copies.
Yeah.
What?
I should clarify, Arcane Lion, which is the original Arcane,
Okay.
still exists.
Okay. So some of those other things we still have. But either way.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, man. It's just, the whole thing just is dirty and disgusting. And I was really not happy to read it. And then in an all hands call, hear Matt Booty say, we want to focus on high impact games, while almost just staring at everybody walking out of the building that they just let go that made the highest impact game they've made in the last 5 years.
Yeah. Well, there's more on it. The next story is a continuation.
Well, you know what that means. Number 6, a ZeniMax executive has reportedly said Xbox's closure of 4 studios this week was due to lack of staff and support. As reported by Bloomberg, head of ZeniMax Jill Braff reportedly said during a town hall meeting on Wednesday, it was hard to support the studios globally, quote, with a lean central team, end quote, and various projects in the works. Braff said, quote, I think we were about to topple over, end quote. Xbox Game Studios head Matt Booty allegedly added that the decision to close the 4 studios was to free up resources elsewhere. Bloomberg also reported that Tango Gameworks and Arcane Austin were in the process of pitching new projects which required more staff. These were reportedly a sequel to Hi-Fi Rush and a new single-player immersive sim game from Arcane. This was suggested to be a factor in both closures. The idea that they wanted to do more work and needed more people.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Xbox President Sarah Bonds says that Microsoft's shuttering of 4 Bethesda studios is to ensure the firm's business is healthy for the long term. Digital Devolve... Whoa, wait, what? That's really something different. Okay. It's a really weird thing when they're like with a lean central team. So I assume that they mean that there's a small team in Seattle that is attempting to oversee and help all these remote ones like Austin and whatever that aren't natively in Seattle. To which I say, well, there's a pretty fucking easy solution, you idiots. Make the lean team bigger. When you have 2 studios coming to you, pitching new projects and saying, yeah, we're going to have to hire some more people, wouldn't you go, okay, as long as your projects make good and sound good, then yeah, we should support you in doing this. Not, listen, we've only got 5 people running all of Microsoft right now. If we chop off like 40 people, that just saves us having to talk to them. Let's just get rid of them.
Sorry about that.
Don't
want to have to do this, but...
Oh, everybody really like, what studio were you in? Oh, you were in the ones that made Hi-Fi Rush? And I'd like to think that's somewhere, right? Matt Booty, Sarah Bond, all these people that are so far up their own ass at this point that I'm just so not wanting to talk to any of them ever. That they have all this moment, and then there's somebody that's like having to do the firings, like that's just underneath them, or maybe a few positions underneath them that gets it a little bit more. They're like, okay, so they're like in a pitch meeting, and somebody's like, okay, so what should we do? And somebody says like, what about Hi-Fi Rush 2? Like, that's a great idea. That game sold really well. Okay, cool. Anybody else have anything? Like, okay, Starfield DLC, that's fine. We're doing a Gears of War thing, apparently. Okay, good. Flight Sim, everybody loves a Flight Sim, that's fine. Hi-Fi Rush 2, that should be... I wonder what they would do if they would do anything different. Hey, we should call them and see if we can like get down there and like have a conversation with them and see what they want to do. They already were like thinking about doing something like that. Okay, like we should go down there and really see it, or like could we schedule a meeting? And then they're having that conversation in a boardroom while Matt Booty and them are deciding to cut the entire studio. They walk out of that boardroom to go have a meeting with Matt Booty after his meeting. And they're like, okay, so what do you have for us? And like, okay, so we got a couple ideas. Obviously, we did status checks on the things you already know about: Starfield DLC, new Flight Sim stuff, the fact that we're looking still to buy Ubisoft, and then dismantle that entirely. Like, we talked about those things. We think the Ubisoft one, by the way, really shitty idea. Not going to pan out unless we get full control and actually demolish a bunch of things. So I know that that's the one you're going to take out of this and run with. But the one that I think makes us the best press, not the most money, but for sure the best press, and puts us in like a Game of the Year contender and a reason people should play Xbox, is Hi-Fi Rush 2. And then you just see Matt Booty's face just stare at him. And he's like, do you not like that idea? I mean, we were nominated for a game of the year. It performed extremely well. Everybody was unbelievably surprised when it came out. It was a Game Pass killer. Like, what are we? Let's go. Number 2, right? We like sequels. 2. We made fucking 7 Halos. Like, what about a second Hi-Fi Rush? They put it out pretty quick. I mean, your thoughts? And then Matt Booty this entire time is just kind of staring at him like,
how about
he's like staring past them.
no?
Yeah. Matt Booty's just like staring past them. And he's like, all right, yeah, so I'm gonna go get on a call with them, and I will I'll let you know what they think for like delivery date. I'll talk to you in a bit. And the guy turns, doesn't get out the door of Booty's office before he says, hold on. And he turns back and he goes, you can't talk to him. He's like, oh, did you already talk to him? Did they already, hey, perfect, you fill me in? He's like, no, I did just talk to them. They don't work here anymore. And then they just go, what do you mean they don't work here? Oh, we let them go.
A couple of them?
And then the same, like, how many? Like, it was a downsizing. It was like QA. Like, what are we talking? QA because we pulled all the other QA in house. Like, what are we doing? No. All of them? We let all of them go. Why would you let all of them go? There's only like 4 of us up here. It's a really lean team. And that 10 people over there, gotta trim the fat. What do you even do here? I manage a bunch of things. Yeah, and what do I do? You manage a bunch of things. Right, I manage them, not you.
Well, no
About
one
that.
manages them
The good-
anymore.
The good news is no one manages them anymore. So that's extra cycles for you to hunt for a new job because you don't work here anymore. What do you mean?
Get fucked.
I just picture an entire scenario where it's like, fuck you, Microsoft. Jesus God.
Yeah.
Anyway, Devolver Digital co-founder Nigel Lowry did an interview this week that had a relevant quote about the state of the games industry. Quote, but on the larger end, it feels like it's crushing under its own weight a little bit. The consumers are so tied up in some of these really fantastic live service games, but there's only so much time they can spend, end quote. That is another prime example of somebody understanding and misunderstanding the point in the same sentence. It is crumbling under its own weight because the greed of CEOs and corporations to just go, I'm going to make another live service game.
Yeah.
Where if they just went, I'm going to make Hades.
To be
2.
fair, this is the Devolver Digital co-founder.
No, I know it is.
So
who's also done really well in terms
Yeah.
of avoiding live service nightmares.
He did go on to say, like, that's not our position. We do a lot of cool small games, and this is the problems we're having.
Right. And unless you do something that's not transformative is not the right word, but like a really impressive,
Innovative?
smaller game. Impressive, innovative.
Yeah.
Helldivers, right? Like, which even then, Helldivers is a live service game. But if you need to make Cult of the Lamb, you need to make, just to reference a Devolver one specifically, Hades, Slay the Spire for a card game, like all these other Manor Lords. There's another great example. All these games that are super zeitgeisty popular of hitting Twitch and doing they aren't live service. Who would have thought that Manor Lords was the number 1 requested game on Steam? Isn't that like asinine to think about? That an RTS
It's fresh.
set in not feudal Europe
Yeah.
is more wish listed than any other game. That's nuts.
Shit's fresh.
It doesn't matter that it's fresh though. It's insanity that genre is number 1 wish listed. It's not GTA. It's not listed, so it doesn't really count. But it's not that. It's not a FIFA. It's not a Madden. It's not a Call of Duty. It's not a Battlefield.
We've just been
It is a single dev game.
We've been so far, gaming as a whole has been so far up its own ass.
It can't breathe.
Exactly. And then you come along, you get like a Manor Lords. It's like, wow, that looks fucking cool. It's interesting. It's fresh. I'm going to check that shit out.
Right. But that's what I mean. Like, to do that, and all these other studios just somehow don't get it and go, I'm going to release XDefiant at the end of May. And you're going,
another live service game?
what are you doing? You already killed your Battle Royale that you started. You then had a cool idea for the Roller Champion one. Remember the Roller Derby one that they kind of did?
Yeah.
Roller Champions? I think it was Roller Champions. I played that with like a couple people, and I was like, there's enough underneath here where it's like, it's a fun little game. Sell it for $9.99. You'll go bonkers, and then start doing, DLCs of random Rocket League style, of having weird sponsors of whatever, of like customizing your character and everything. You'd at least have something where it'd be fun for people to keep going. Instead, killed it. We're gonna make XDefiant, a shooter that hasn't worked out in any beta testing and is not going to be playable because things are still better than it all the time. Oh, and then we're gonna make Division Heartland, and we're gonna. It's just like, what are you, Ubisoft? No, stop! You need to get back to. Look at what you did with Prince of Persia, in the platforming and everything of the new Prince of Persia. Everybody loves it because you took time to like incubate and build a correct thing, and it's just a small thing. It's a small thing with a big.
It's a thing you can pick up. You can play it for a week, a couple days, a month, and then set it down. And you can go, look at that shiny thing over there.
And I'm
going to check that out. Yeah.
And be satisfied that you completed a game that was really good start to finish, and at no point felt like it disrespected your time.
Yes.
Which, guess what Assassin's Creed Mirage does?
Disrespects my time.
The fuck out of you. It does not call you the next day. It does not get you coffee in the morning. It doesn't even get you a towel. It is disrespectful as shit.
Jesus.
And it's not the worst Assassin's Creed that's the most disrespectful. That's the best part.
Oh my
Arguably,
God.
Black Flag disrespects you the most.
I don't know about that.
Odyssey's right behind it.
I think Odyssey is probably the most disrespectful one.
Odyssey is, if not number one, number two.
Yeah.
And the only reason I'm arguing with Black Flag being as high as it is because the fucking sailing was atrocious.
Yeah, but it wasn't like endless. Like, I don't know. I got through it fine.
Oh, I mean, I got through the entire game, but it was just,
If we're talking about just disrespecting time.
Disrespecting time, Odyssey.
Yes.
Accidentally ended up in how many naval warfares when I just wanted to go from island to island.
That and the million different fucking collectathons.
Yeah. Anyway, Brad Hildebrand, who has been the senior public relations manager for 343 Industries, the Coalition, Compulsion Games, and others up until this month, claimed that every game that launches on Game Pass badly misses its sales goals. Well, that's if they count sales versus downloads. That literally makes sense. That also being said, that is a fucking track record and a half that I feel pity.
Yeah.
Do you want to... Hey, you were the public relations manager for a bunch of people that have seen some shit.
Here's the wild thing. And there's reference to this later on as well, but if Microsoft said, hey, we're going to close 343 Industries, I'd be like, I understand.
If they had come out and said, we're closing Arcane Austin, I'd be like, okay. I don't like it, but like, okay.
Yeah.
Redfall wasn't good, and I can see some issues growing, and you could give them. You would say like, okay, well, what if you gave them one more game to kind of turn it around? But there's a lot of money in doing dev like that, right? So okay, but then you don't close Hi-Fi Rush, and instead you say, and we're gonna shutter 343 and disperse them amongst the rest of the studios.
Yeah,
either disperse them amongst the rest of the studios, or half are gone and half are dispersed, or whatever. I think I'm in the same boat where I would kind of be like, all right, 343 is done.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. You had a good run.
Yep. Yeah, you really didn't, but
yeah, you had a mediocre run at best. At best, you had a mediocre run. You launched Master Chief Collection in a shit show. Halo 5 was meh. Halo 4 was meh. Infinite was a shit show.
Yeah.
It felt, to be fair, it felt like Halo. The campaign did feel Halo-y. The open world was nice. It was a nice try.
Had potential.
You had a lot of potential, but you were released in a half-finished state, and it's unbelievable that you still didn't ever put like split screen and shit in. Unfucking acceptable.
Yeah.
So it's like mediocre. You had a run.
Yeah.
But
it's like that's a reasonable outcome. I feel
right.
like.
It's a reasonable outcome. You're going out without actually going from mediocre to lower. And based on your track record, the idea that you get from mediocre to good isn't happening.
Yeah. Microsoft cuts their losses, moves talent around, and then, maybe if they decide to do Halo again, they just give it to a different
I don't
team.
think I would ever get this conversation. Ever. In the history of my life. And if I did, I think he would never do it. He might walk out on me. But I think there would be a genuine fun time to sit down in a like fireside style chat or like round table style with me, Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, just for fun. Whoever's running Sony at the time. Apparently that changes too frequently. But mainly me and like Phil. And just go, you gotta close 3 studios. Who do you close? Or, hey, these studios are all under your purview. How do you rate their life? On good, mediocre, bad, and there's half steps in between bad, mediocre, and mediocre good.
There's studios that haven't even come out with a game yet.
Right. I would genuinely be like, where do you put them? And I'll have a list of the studios, and then inside of that list of studios, each studio will have a list of the games that released. And I'm just going to go, I want to know what you think. Genuinely what you think 343 has been good at. Can you tell me? And if you tell me that it's the games that 5 years after they've released them for the first time, we have a problem. Yeah. Oh, well, Master Chief Collection became very good. Do you hear the words that are coming out of your mouth? Do you? You released in a broken state. And then you made another Halo. Instead of putting it in Master Chief Collection for DLC, you made another Halo. You don't think there's something wrong with that?
You made another Halo that focused on Master Chief.
You should have killed him. I told you to kill him in Halo 4. And then I specifically fought Matt. Not really fought Matt.
Yeah.
We had discussions when Halo 5 was coming out. But I was just like, I want this to be the hunt for Chief, which they branded it.
Mm-hmm.
But then I wanted him to either already be found dead, as if the guy had been chasing his trail and found dead Chief, or you kill Chief.
They did fuck up that story.
100%. 100% of the 5 story was entirely fucked.
Halo kind of got the Halo story arc kind of got a little.
Listen, when we ended it with finish the fight and then didn't finish it, that's kind of a problem.
Yeah.
That being said, Halo 1, 2, and 3 iconic.
Yeah, for sure. Wild.
What a fall from grace. Sony, when you bought Bungie, now rate their performance.
I mean, I'd have to say Bungie's doing better than 343 Industries did.
That depends on from when you're taking into account, I guess. Are we saying from when Bungie leaves and 343 assumes control, that same year span till now?
Yeah.
Bungie did better than 343.
Not much.
But Bungie is on the downslide right now. Bungie released Destiny, which is better than anything that 343 did. But then they released Destiny 2 and all the stuff with that, and that just plummeted.
Mm.
And now they've are making 2 other games, but canceling 2 other games while continuously complaining about their owner or lack thereof. So
We're getting there.
anyway, rumor roundup.
All right, rumor roundup. This first one is kind of a rumor,
Kind of a roundup.
kind of true. Nintendo has given the first indications of when we can expect news on its next-gen console, revealing that the device will be announced within this fiscal year. But Nintendo also confirmed that the 13.5 million console units it expects to sell before March 31st, 2025, does not include sales of the next-gen console.
There were a lot of things getting said around that tweet, and I was just getting annoyed reading it.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh my God, Switch 2. I was like, the man literally said the words Switch successor.
Yes.
That is open as shit.
Yep.
Um,
So,
and also, okay, yeah, you're gonna. Ideally, you hear about it before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'd hope so. That's what he said. He said we hope to tell you by the end of the year. By the way, when we do a direct in a month, we're not talking about it.
Yeah.
Because we would do a direct for just that. And it's like, yeah, all things I would expect them to say. And everybody went, oh my God, I can't believe it was fucking the same thing all over again, where it's like, I expect these things to happen, and everybody else going, I can't believe it. Oh my God. Oh, they ever gonna make another one.
Nintendo make another console. Oh my God. Pigs are flying.
I wonder if this one will have cardboard.
Oh, Jesus. Continuing on with Nintendo.
Does anybody even remember Labo?
I remember Labo.
I know you
Never
remember
forget Labo.
but all those Wii U boxes they cut up from the warehouse.
Do you remember the fucking Wii? What the hell was that thing called?
We Fit?
Yeah, the Wii Fit, the pad.
The
Yeah.
balance pad, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You remember Ring Fit?
Yeah.
Of course I remember Wii Fit. We had Wii Fit in the house.
All right.
My balance was pristine.
There you hear to hear
That
first,
dot
folks.
didn't move.
A few Reddit users have been tracking international customs and shipments between NVIDIA facilities and Nintendo facilities.
You know, as you casually do.
Yep. They went real fucking deep, bro. Real deep. And believe that the Switch 2 will feature 12 gigs of RAM on the T239 chip and 256 gigs of memory.
Can you imagine tracking a package through customs that's not yours?
Well, all the shipping information's like,
No, I know,
Open?
but like, can you just imagine
No,
being
I
that
can't.
person that's like, I wonder
no,
if,
these motherfuckers like built websites and shit
yeah, it's like,
to
I wonder,
like track this
I wonder
stuff.
if this is going to happen, yada, yada. And it's like, I don't care that much.
It's like, guys, you got too much time in your hands. The Verge's Tom Warren has a lot of Microsoft rumors. He said Microsoft is still pondering whether to put Call of Duty on Game Pass. They're afraid that adding it to Game Pass would reduce revenue.
It's true. It would.
It would. Microsoft is also considering another price increase for Game Pass Ultimate.
Not surprising.
Strategy has shifted from bringing more games to Game Pass to bringing more games to other platforms.
Also, I mean, both make sense if you can bring Game Pass to the platform. You can do both. Two birds.
Hellblade 2 is being considered for the PS5, but Microsoft thinks even with that, it might not be commercially successful.
I don't think it was ever going to be commercially successful.
I have to imagine the budget on this is pretty
Stupid.
hefty.
Yeah. I think they'll be lucky to see 70% of their budget back.
Yeah.
That's not to say that it'll be a bad game. I think it'll probably be an amazing game.
Yeah.
But
There are whispers of layoffs planned for core Xbox game studios.
looking at you, 343.
Yes. And finally, he stated in a tweet, quote, Microsoft will be banking on some new game announcements, lifting the doom around Xbox. And he did italicize Doom with a capital D.
I mean, I would take a new Doom. Doom's great. But you want to know what I'm not going to do? Picture that with Xbox. I'm just not going to be like, Xbox is saved, Doom exists. I'm going to be like, oh, we got a new Doom. It's going to be, I'm going to have a child before I associate Bethesda games as like Xbox titles or like saving Xbox titles. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, Starfield is on Xbox only, not an Xbox title.
Yeah.
Like, that's just a weird, it is, but like,
It's a mental, gotcha.
I got years of association.
There's a mental hurdle there.
Yeah, and it's a pretty big, I got the legs.
I ain't got no legs.
Lieutenant Dan.
Sega is planning to make the Persona, Like a Dragon, and Sonic the Hedgehog annual franchises.
Please no.
You know they got
no.
to. They gotta get that sweet, sweet money.
If they make them annual, I can't play them anymore.
Sweet, sweet money.
It's just not. It just won't happen. I can't play them anymore because that's too much RPG to get through.
Can you imagine? That's a lot, dude. Oh, now that
So
I'm thinking
much.
about it. Holy fuck.
That's why it's like you have to do biannual.
The God of War Ragnarok PC port should be announced this month, according to a well-known leaker. Another look at GTA 6 could be coming very soon, judging from the Rockstar Games official website's latest update, which includes placeholder links for the game's cover art and several screenshots. The rumored planned PlayStation Showcase is still taking place this month, according to Jeff Grubb.
Of course it was. They have to shoot themselves in the foot before Summer Game Fest.
Fuck yeah.
It's my favorite time of the year. I'm going to announce everything. Get disproven 2 weeks later.
Jeff Grubb has also stepped in to provide an update on the long in development Xbox project, Perfect Dark. It's been in development for around 6 years at new quadruple A studio, The Initiative, with Crystal Dynamics pitching in to help since 2021. Per Grubb, it seems the new Perfect Dark is still in a, quote, very rough state, end quote, with Crystal Dynamics' help doing little to get the project back on track. Quote, sounds like it's in a very rough state, and it doesn't look like it's really coming together in any way since the game's announcement, end quote. That's not good.
That's a bad sign.
Eurogamer editor-in-chief Tom Phillips reports that BioWare's Dragon Age Dreadwolf is one of the 2 unannounced games slated for release by March 2025 in EA's latest financial report.
Insanity. It's going to have a fucking fall release, which is insane.
It has a fall release and it's good and everyone's happy.
As I said, there's 3 options.
Or it has a February release and it's bad and BioWare is shut down.
Yeah. And the third option is that it's delayed into 2026.
Yeah.
We're just gonna keep pushing it.
According to some insider known as V-Scooper, the new Tomb Raider installment will be open world with Laura roaming vast zones with her motorcycle and parachute, and will be released in less than a year.
I wonder if Sony Bend should make it.
Interesting idea.
Everybody just staring at Days Gone like.
Media Molecule co-founder Mark Healy has claimed that the studio's next project will be more of a game than a creative tool.
Good idea. Not that Dreams was that bad, but like I think it's really hard to sell it to casual people who are your market.
Exactly.
Unless you're doing that at the same time. Like Dreams plus something, I think you'd be in a better spot. Questionable things. Speed round. ByteDance and TikTok have filed a challenge to the bill banning the app in the U.S. The filing argues in part that no public evidence has revealed that the Chinese government has been using the app to spy on Americans. Subsection A from Nate. Why the fuck didn't we ban Facebook and everything else when they were actually caught leaking information?
Money.
Ooh, good reason. Fuck them, though, at the same time. Number 2, a jury has ruled that Activision Blizzard will pay tech incubator Acceleration Bay $18 million in copyright infringement for World of Warcraft and $5.4 million for 2 Call of Duty titles. Number 3, Nintendo has released its latest financial results for the full year ending in March 31st, 2021. The platform holder reported net sales rose 4.4% to $11 billion and gross profit up 7.8% to $6.2 billion. This is despite declines in both hardware and software sales. Krafton released its Q1 financials report, which says it reached $488 million in consumer spending. The report said PC, console, PUBG, Battlegrounds saw its monthly active users and sales reach the highest figures since the free-to-play transition in 2022. That's still wild. That thing's still going, man.
Yeah. Doing better than
I remember
ever.
when it was first coming out, and I was sitting at PAX, like, and everything else going, like, what the fuck is this?
Doing better than ever.
Number 5, Roblox has released its first quarter financial results for 2024, demonstrating a significant boost in the company's revenue at $801 million for the quarter. That's a 22% increase year on year. Roblox highlighted an increase in the number of its daily active users, up 17% to 77.7 million active users a day.
The majority of that is probably kids.
Yep. Either way, still insanity. Insanity for that number.
Yeah, but
Also,
that number,
did you not notice all these financial results that you snuck in here to this section?
record high.
And then you asked me if Cacao Games was a financial call.
Record highs, all of them.
Capcom has released its financial results for the fiscal year, reporting a record high profit for a 7th consecutive year. Net sales were $978 million, up 21% year over year. Capcom's biggest release of the financial year was Street Fighter VI, which has sold 3.3 million units since launch in June of 2023, and Dragon's Dogma 2 launched towards the end of the financial year with over 2.6 million units. All of these studios are expected layoffs in the next 2 months. Unity has posted its first financial results for 2024, showing a loss of nearly $300 million for the first quarter, due mostly to their restructuring costs and the fact that they decided to fuck around and find out with their EULA.
Yep.
Number 8, Dead Island 2 has reached 7 million players since it launched on April 21st, 2023. That's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
Number 9, Big Games Machine surveyed 1,000 US-based console and PC gamers about how they find new titles to purchase and play, of which 64% said they discover games via YouTube. Which makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the number was only 1,000 people. It's really not that many. I hate surveys like that. We surveyed 100 people. So, you know how many people there are in the world? Go survey the people in Sudan.
I don't think they're playing games.
Exactly, but your results will be real different.
It's true.
Number 10, Microsoft has announced that its Xbox mobile storefront will launch in July of 2024. Microsoft first-party content will be made available first, including titles such as Candy Crush and Minecraft. Number 11, Corsair is pursuing an acquisition of the racing sim brand Fanatec. In an update shared on Thursday, Corsair said it's negotiating with Fanatec to restructure the troubled company's $75.4 million in debt and cover its short-term costs. Apparently, Corsair already has a sim racing product line launching at Computex in June.
That's a wild one.
And Matt and I both tell me a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Electronic Arts CEO Andrew Wilson spoke of how generative AI could make its development process more efficient and give developers more power. Based on our early assessment, we believe that more than 50% of our development processes will be positively impacted by the advances in generative AI. End quote. EA, Andrew Wilson again, provided a bit of an update on the next entry in the Battlefield series, which is being made by the, quote, largest team in franchise history, end quote, and will be, in Wilson's estimation, another tremendous live service, which is a question of what the fuck was the last one. Also, EA is looking at a way to get ads into games.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
I can 100% see it being woven into the sports games. I do not understand how you make it work in Jedi Survivor. Number 14, Nintendo is dropping Twitter integration on June 10th. 15, Sea of Thieves is April's most downloaded game on PS5 in Europe and third in the US. 16, a new life simulation inspired by the Studio Ghibli movies has... Ghibli?
I say Ghibli.
Okay. Has been spotted on Steam. It's called Star Sand Island, and the game's description reads, Star Sand Island is more than just a game. It's a journey for the soul.
Yay.
Or terrifying.
Yeah, could be.
What's the most recent one there?
The Boy and the Heron. Yeah.
Terrifying.
I haven't watched it yet.
I haven't either. Every time I look at the Heron, though, I just kind of go, like, I don't really want to.
Yeah, and it's voiced by Robert Pattinson.
Oh, that's interesting. Bungie's original Marathon series is coming to Steam, and the first game in the trilogy is available for free now. Who cares? Hades 2 has officially launched into early access, and within 9 hours has already more than doubled the all-time peak concurrent player count of the first game on Steam. Hades 2, I am moister than oysters.
Whoa.
Evil Empire has delayed the Rogue Prince of Persia's release date from May 14th to later this month because of the surprise of Hades 2 early access release. And that is called helping a brother out. Same reason I loved the Final Fantasy stuff. When they're like, listen, Shadow of the Erdtree is coming out for Elden Ring. We're all going to be playing it. I'm not releasing Final Fantasy expansion until another week after that comes out.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with you guys. I want to play this DLC. I'm sure you do too, so we're not doing that.
Yeah.
The whole reason you also watch when Zelda comes out, everybody vacates a window. They're like, nope, absolutely not. Funny enough, did not happen with Tears of the Kingdom. Happened with Breath of the Wild, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's been 7 days. What you been up to?
I don't know.
Perfect, then. We'll see you guys next week.
I got nothing. I don't know. I haven't been doing anything exciting.
I haven't really been doing anything either. I've just been playing WoW Patch, doing keys, cleaning, trying to put things together, organize life.
Yeah. It's more than me.
Doing it as a like not so much when I get home, right? Because I'm done.
Yeah.
I got my other. I want to do fun things that aren't work related or anything. So it's usually like on the weekend, give myself like a couple hours, sort some shit out. Whether it's throwing laundry, clean a room. So laundry's just doing things. I'm doing other things while that's happening, whatever. It's like, all right. Because I'm not counting doing laundry as doing something, but it's like, all right, laundry's in. I'm down here. Can I like clean something up, pare things down? It's into that. We've talked about this before, but having like too much shit, and it's just like, and it's not shit that's like, oh, I might use this someday. It's like in that corner over there is one of these old rolled up extended mouse pads.
Yeah.
Why?
Hoarding.
Right. It just needs to not happen.
Yeah.
So it's just, pare things down. Hey, what do you actually need and what do you actually use? Get rid of what you don't.
Yeah.
Like I did a clothes donation the other day. Because I just had that moment where I was like, I don't even know when the last time I opened this side of the closet was.
Yeah.
And I went through and I'm just looking at things and I was like, donate. Filled 3 bags, threw them in the donation thing and said, there you go. See you guys later.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's just stuff where it's been like, gotta parse things out and you do better. Don't be sorry, be better. But yeah, all right, cool. Then we will see you all in 7 days. I can't think if there's anything to watch before then, but hey, you should do that.
Yeah, do things.
Do things, play things. Enjoy the weather. We're coming up on it. We're coming up on it. Slowly. We're moving towards summer.